Sorry, Montreal. I wanted to give the formal apology right here because right now I am watching the Islanders and the Canadiens. It's an overtime. Looks like it's going to be going over to a shootout, and I am not going to be making a video about this game. However, the reason I'm watching Montreal, New York is because this is the game, this is the programming they put on our Sportsnet Pacific television screens immediately after the Vancouver Canucks win. Yes, baby, that's right. That's more like it. The Vancouver Canucks have defeated the Philadelphia Flyers 3-0 in Philadelphia's home opener. What a great game this was. It was exciting. It was filled with some big moments, with some big saves. We saw some big names really coming out there and putting themselves on the map once again. There's a lot to go over here that I think we could dive straight into, but ultimately I wanted to open the video up with this. Vancouver won 3-0. You might say, oh, that was a domineering performance. They absolutely smoked the Flyers. And while that might look true on the score sheet, because literally the Flyers didn't score any goals, the Flyers came alive, dude. I'd say that one of two areas of improvement for Vancouver in this game in particular is holding back high danger opportunities in front of your crease, especially in the third period. I'll say this right here. Kevin Lankinen, bravo, man. The guy gets the shutout. He absolutely deserves the shutout. He earned that. And he's now the #1 in Vancouver without Thatcher Demko. Absolutely, he is the guy. There's a reason he was backing up UC Saros for 2 years, and there's a reason his numbers looked so good in that position. Kevin Lankinen was an MVP in this game. And it's great because it's not even just him that we could go out there and praise. It's not just him that had a good night. Even though the Canucks could have tightened things down defensively, especially in the third period, they still got it done. They still got the result they wanted, and they still spoiled Philadelphia's home opener. Let's dive into the goals, let's dive into some of the extra stuff, and then we'll go over some of the other players, because the first goal of the game was scored by Nils Hoglander. Really good play here by the Hoglander, Garland, and Petey line. The puck gets fed in down low, and it's Connor Garland, who throws it back out up to the top of the slot for Petey. And then you have the goaltender, Samuel Ersson, who comes out of his crease to challenge Pettersson. He's daring Petey, take a shot, I'm gonna save it. But then Petey just decides to go backdoor to Nils Hoglander for a wide-open tap-in. Beautiful play. That is exactly what makes Elias Pettersson so special. And I know yesterday we made a video saying, oh, is this the problem with the guy? Oh, is he bad? He's overpaid. He's this, he's that. And those narratives are still going to be there, of course. But I will say, the past few games, Elias Pettersson has started to look a little bit better. Not necessarily with the strict, raw, hard shooting attempts, but with everything else around his game. In fact, in this game, I actually thought he did start to shoot a bit more, which was very nice to see. But the pass that set up the Hoglander goal, this is kind of what we have come to expect out of the elusive and tricky nature of Elias Pettersson's offensive capabilities. Teasing the shot, drawing everybody, including the goaltender, in towards his shooting lane, and then just completely diverting expectations going off to the side. Hoglander makes it 1-0. Beautiful goal there. The second goal of the game, making it 2-0, it's Brock Boeser in the second period. This was a beautiful pass out in front by Tyler Myers. Yeah, that's right, baby. Jake DeBrusk is behind the net. He tosses it out in front. It ends up in a scrum. Myers is there, and then Myers goes through the legs with a no-look backhander right to Brock on the open side. He's there, backhands it in, open cage, 2-0. That's Myers' 1,000th NHL game for you in the books with a beautiful assist, and his parents were in attendance too. All we were missing was his half-brother Quentin Grimes in the stands too, but yeah, no, he's got some commitments with the Dallas Mavericks. I'm not really all too certain he'd be able to make it out here. Either way, Tyler Myers sets up Boeser for a beautiful 2-0 goal, and then you had yourselves the 3-0 goal, scored just a few minutes later. Vancouver wins the faceoff. It's Teddy Bluger. He drops it over to his side, and immediately after the puck hits the ground, it's Kieffer Sherwood, still on the faceoff circle, who picks it up and fires it by Samuel Ersson. That's it. 3-0 is the score here. Those were all 3 goals. Kevin Lankinen had to stand on his head to make some of these crazy saves in the third period and beyond. Vancouver had a pretty solid grasp on the game for the first 40 minutes, I feel. They had most of the puck possession and control, and I think a lot of their opportunities didn't really come out as much as they could have. Like, they were holding onto the puck in the O-zone, especially in the power play, so much that if they wanted to take maybe like 2 or 3 more shots a shift, I think they actually could have. They were getting a little bit fancy, I will say, and it allowed the Philadelphia Flyers, once they would get the puck back, to come in and force a chance, force an opportunity. Philly forced a few shorthanded opportunities too. Kevin Lankinen definitely had to be on his toes during the Canucks power play moments, but at the end of the day, I'd say the only 2 criticisms for Vancouver would be actually starting to shoot more on the power play and being able to set up properly. These aggressive penalty kills that these opposing teams run give Vancouver so much trouble. We had seen that with the first Philadelphia game a few days ago, and then in this one here too. The aggressive penalty kill, the power kill, it's very effective against this Vancouver Canucks team. So just being able to move the puck around quicker, open up more space, and set up your game properly. Vancouver's going to have to work on that, especially against these aggressively PKing teams. But also, when Philadelphia starts getting their own mojo and they're starting to cycle it around, the Canucks need to do a better job at limiting those high-danger opportunities in front. Yes, Kevin Lankinen made a bunch of saves that were awesome, but the Flyers also had a lot of open chances right in the slot that they straight up missed. They shot the puck higher, they shot it wide on the rush, or they were coming on a 2-on-1 and it's Owen Tippett who shoots it wide instead of making the pass. There were some breakaways in there that Kevin Lankinen stopped too. He was awesome in this game, and he is the #1 goalie for Vancouver right now. Let's also talk about some of the stars for the Canucks, starting things out with JT Miller. Now, Miller's interesting because he actually missed a good chunk of the opening minutes of the game because right after the opening faceoff, he ended up taking a seat back on the bench and leaving to go into the dressing room. We didn't know what happened there with JT. It seemed like something might have happened off the draw. Maybe he got somebody's stick up in the area that he probably shouldn't have, but ultimately Miller was okay. It was a little scary at the beginning. Okay, we're going to play this entire game without watching any JT Miller? That's going to be so bad. But eventually he came back. It was all good. He didn't get a point in this one, but he did look pretty okay, I'd say. He did the Miller things that we're all used to seeing. Also, Quinn Hughes had himself a bit of a scare as well. He got bodied, cross-checked into the boards by Konechny. I believe this was at the start of the third, whilst on the Garnett Hathaway power play. And Hughes got shaken up too. Obviously not an ideal situation to have 2 of your top guys get hurt, but they still were able to finish the game. They still played well, I would say, and they still contributed to the offensive chances the Canucks had. Now, they didn't get any points in this one, but you know who did? Elias Pettersson, who was actually starting to shoot more. I noticed this on one of the rush chances the Canucks had. It was a 2-on-1, and instead of deferring to the pass, he ended up trying to take a shot. Also, there was a one-timer that he took in the second period that I was a really big fan of. Him and Hoglander work very well together, I would say, and I don't want to make it seem like this is a big turning point for the guy, but he did play very strong defensive hockey in this one. He was back-checking, he was physical, he was hitting guys, and even the Canucks Twitter account was going out there and posting some of his back-checks and physical play, being like, hey, yeah, Petey's doing really good things, guys. Look at this. We're posting this because we know the narrative has been going around that he's not good, but yeah, no, he's good. And he did have a very strong game, I felt. Also set up the Nils Hoglander goal, of course. If this is ultimately step 1 in what's needed to reset Elias Pettersson, giving him those chances, giving him those starts, and just kind of moving the puck around more, giving him more options, I think this is a pretty good thing, but, you know, it's 1 game out of 82. He had a few bad ones earlier on, so we'll see whether or not PD is able to build off of the momentum that he had in this one. Ultimately, though, I'd say that some of the other guys that we want to see, Daniel Sprong stepped in. He was okay. I noticed him winning a board battle or 2 here and there in the third period on the power play, which was nice. Erik Brannstrom, I think, is a very legit add to this team. He should not be removed in the next few games here. Plus, he can play the right side, which is really, really versatile. You need another guy to play alongside of Derek Forbort? Hey, why not get a mobile player like Erik Brannstrom who can actually skate, who can make a good first pass, who can do a lot of things that we need bottom pair defensemen to do on your hockey team. So Brannstrom, I thought, played decent enough to be continued in the lineup here. Ultimately, though, solid game. They needed to reduce their chances against, but at the end of the day, they won 3-0, so you can't really complain too much. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Vancouver Canucks shutting out the Philadelphia Flyers. I hope you enjoyed this Pettersson'S 9. and bye.